Hello, welcome to another episode of Tables, Athers and Chairs. We're still all on lockdown, which is probably going to be sticking around for a while. With us today, got another guest. It is the video nasty, last of the sick boys. It's Mr. Rory Coyle. How's it going, man?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Thanks for having me. I was going to say, I'm one of those people that's got those ridiculous nicknames. So people normally have to introduce me with the nicknames. It's never just like, there's Rory Coyle. But quite often it's just like, this is Irish, because that's what most people call me. So I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just chilling at home.
Just taking it easy.
Yeah.
That's my running joke. It's like, I keep going like, what do you want to do at the weekend? Do you want to go dancing or something? And everyone's like, what the fuck? Yeah. I was talking to Rampage about this yesterday, and we were saying like, it's about a year ago. It's just over a year ago since we had the Defiant title match. And it honestly feels like 5 years ago. And we were like, it just feels so bizarre that like, and we're very much under the assumption that like we won't wrestle till 2021. Just two big pessimistic lumps. But like, I was just like, yeah, that's a year ago. Oh, this is weird. This is very weird. It's very strange.
Oh. How are you dealing with the whole not wrestling thing then? Is it
that
itch yet, or are you enjoying actually like resting up?
No, like I think I'm quite different from everyone else. Like, I love and I hate wrestling, but probably like most fans and stuff. But like sometimes, like for me, wrestling was never like, it was never going to be. Like, I never had dreams of like, oh, well, I'm going to be a wrestler and then I'm going to go to WWE. And, you know, I never had that. So for me, it was always just like a creative outlet. So I think I miss the creativity a good bit. And I miss the boys. Like, that's the thing. Like, I miss the locker room. And I miss the travel. Like, but the actual, like, getting beat up, I don't miss that much. I was never that good at it, anyway, getting beat up. Well, I was good at getting beat up. I wasn't actually that good at wrestling. I've got like a very good pain threshold and a really good ability to bleed a lot. But yeah, I think I was kind of missing the creativity a little bit and just missing like the interaction with all the boys and stuff. But it's weird. Like there'll be days where I'll just sit and I'll think, well, that's it. Like I might just never come back. Like once everything starts up again, I'll just walk away and I'll never come back. And then there's other days where I'm sitting going like, no, I really want to wrestle. I was like, my missus kind of slapped me around the other day and said like, you wouldn't stop. And I was like, I'm going to stop. I'll show you. And then like 2 hours later, I was like, so I filmed this promo. It's like, so yeah, I kind of like, I dip and dive a lot with it, but that's me in wrestling in general. Like that's me in wrestling 24/7. I love it some days and then I hate it other days. I think that's obvious from how I talk on the mic and how I interact with people online. I think you can see what days I'm on.
I think most people get like that. I know certain fans get like that. I certainly do. It's like sometimes you're like, ugh. But I think that's whole kind of absence makes the heart grow fonder type thing. The fact that I've not been to a show for about 7-8 weeks now, and people haven't been to shows for nearly like 2 months, and obviously it's completely different from my perspective to your perspective, because obviously a lot of you guys are missing out on money.
Yeah, I think like maybe that's why I'm not like as beat up about it, because like wrestling's not I'm not saying it is, but like wrestling's not like my full-time. It's not like my full-time job. So that's where like as soon as it happened, I started like worrying for all the boys that I know it is their full-time job. And I remember, I think I did it in the North podcast, and I was like, don't fucking buy my merch. Like, don't it's fucking good and it's nice. Can we swear, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's nice merch and it's good merch, but like, don't touch it for the next 6 months. Like, just fuck off. Give it to someone who like depends on it and like someone who needs it, stuff like that. So, yeah, but I think like, do you think that's fandom in general? Because you're a big footy guy, aren't you? Do you think like you have that with the footy as well, where you like, you love it and you hate it and it's like you can't be bothered going to a match day, and then it's like it's the only thing you want to do and stuff. So I think it's maybe just fandom in general. But yeah, there's definitely like it's weird because I stay in touch with like a lot of the boys. Like mainly for me, it's like I got like a close knit group of mates, and like I think everyone kind of knows it. The only reason I could book places is because I'm Rampage's mate. Uh, and he made me look good in a couple of matches. Well, he made me look not shit in a couple of matches. But like I stay in touch with like Rampage every day and like Screwface every day, and then like Kirby and those lads. And it's weird the difference between like a guy like Kirby who's just stepped away and just finished wrestling, and then a guy like Screwface and Rampage who are very much like that is their world and stuff like that. So I've been trying to be the guy that kind of, hey, what's up? Here's a video of me cooking, which has become a new thing to annoy the boys with. It's like cooking with Irish. So I'm still making videos, but they're not they're not promos. They're just weird cooking shows.
It's all Martin Kirby's fault anyway. Everything was fine until he retired.
Hey, we were saying this to him the other day. He proper ruined it. Like he's made the right balls of the planet. Martin Kirby, like
your character. What was kind of like the inspiration behind it all?
I mean, for me, it was I think like so. I trained with Rampage, and I think very early on, like you probably Rampage pretty well. Like there's no like airs and graces around him. Like he's just like. I was pretty shit Irish. I was like, yeah. And I think I realized quite early on that like the type of wrestling that I liked and the type of wrestling that I wanted to do wasn't very much like what would be classed as like the indie style now. So for me, like the stuff I always loved about wrestling was characters and stories, and like it sounds cliche and cheesy, but like moments. So like, the Randy Savage, bite moment and like the Doink the Clown spot and like all those bits, I remember them better than I remember like a 5-star match or like a massive flip. So I think from the get-go I was always going to start doing that. And then I think we did a seminar with Alex Shane, and it was just a bit where you just had to get in and like you just had to wrestle. And I think I was wrestling Mickey the Dragon. And we finished up, and then Alex Shane would like give people feedback, and he stopped the whole thing and was like, what's this guy got that like nobody else has? And I was like, he's talking about me or Mickey? Like, I was like, because I don't want to be stereotypical and say what Mickey's got. I was like, he's not from around. He doesn't look like he's around here. I was like, is it because I'm Irish? And he's like, no, it's not that. I was like, I'm actually tall. He's like, no, it's not that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm blowing out my ass. Like, what is it that I've got bad cardio? Then he was like, oh, you've got the face of a serial killer. He's like, and I was like, oh, and he like wrestling, wrestling's very much like, hello, and very polite. And I was like, oh, thank you very much, Mr. Shane. Like, what do you say? And then it kind of like just got from there. It was like the more I would do stuff, like Rampage would kind of say like, you're not that good at all these things. Like I'm never gonna like take a head and then hit the ropes and like stuff like that. But like my face. And like I'm quite aggressive and rough around the edges, so I started like thinking about stuff like that. And then I love horror movies, which is like a genuine thing. So like everyone's always saying that, like the it's like some quote that's been misquoted like hundreds of times, but I think JR said it at one stage where it's like it's yourself, but it's turned up to 11. So I just started like going, well, I love horror movies, so why don't I just be a guy from a horror movie? And I think that was it was the coolest thing I did, but it was also a massive mistake. Because like the early videos that went out, like I made all these early videos, and like a lot of this like goes to my old tag partner as well, because like it was one of those things where like I loved them and I hated them at the same time, because I'd be like, that looks fine, he'd be like, nitpicking, and I was like, I want to kill you. But then we made all these videos up front, like didn't show them to anyone. We got all the promo shots done, didn't show them to anyone, came up with a name, came up with a branding, came up with a t-shirt, everything. And then I just kind of went to Rampage and Screwface. He's like, I've got this idea. Could you look at it? And then Rampage it's weird because he's such a good technical wrestler, but he loves that style of wrestling. And he was like, mate, just put it out. He's like, just go for it. And I think then it just evolved. I just had like tons of Charles Manson tapes and Ted Bundy tapes and just like detailed interviews with like serial killers and like autopsy photos, because I was just trying to figure out like what I was going to be. And there's still some bits like at North. There's some bits of the Charles Manson character, and there's little bits of the Ted Bundy, and like there's inspired by like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees and all this stuff. Hopefully, it just goes together and comes out as something that some people enjoy, some people hate it. Like, but fuck them. So, like,
I mean, as far as wrestling goes, I mean, not every style is going to appeal to everybody. Some people think Will Ospreay's the best wrestler in the world. Some people think he's awful.
Yeah.
It's all about styles and tastes. I mean, I like watching a Will Ospreay match. I like watching a Rampage Brown match.
Yeah. It was that weird thing where I thought, like, if I can be the character, then there'll always be a place for me. If wrestling is a variety show, and obviously some cards aren't, like, there's some places I don't think I could ever work. Like, I don't think I could ever work at Rev Pro, but like I love watching Rev Pro shows. But I don't think, like, I think it was someone said to me, I think it was James Dixon from Defiant said to me, he's like, let's not kid yourself, mate, like, you'd never work for a place like Rev Pro. And I'm like, nah, I don't know if I could, because they have like a certain style, and it's I think it's because maybe I'm a bit older, like, than everyone else. I can just kind of go, yeah, like, that's cool. I'm not like, itching for it or anything, or like, I can very much look at my stuff and go, I'm really shit at this, this, and this. I normally have like a big list. I'm really terrible at this, and I'm all right at this, and it's like promo. Like, some people will love all wrestling, but sometimes people will really hate you. Like, I saw a guy tweeted the other day, was it's the worst too, because people screenshot them and send them to you, and he said, like, I was just reminded that Rory Coyle is a thing, and I had the unfortunate, I think he said something like, I had Nam like flashbacks of unfortunately watching him, and I was like, oh, cool. And then, like, I was like, I don't need, why did you send me this? The person that sent me it, because I wasn't tagged in it. I was like, why did you send me this? Like, oh. So it's happened to me a couple of times recently where I've been like, oh, cheers, guys. Like, it's all just luck. Everything that's ever happened to me, I think, is just luck and timing. And I obviously I got that first shot on those shows just because I put out those videos. It didn't have any other dates, and I had a couple of like NGW dates and stuff, but I put out the videos, and then Bars from North saw it and was like, oh, I like this. He just assumed that we were really good wrestlers. And I think like 20 odd shows later, he's like, don't ask Irish to wrestle. But yeah, I think like that kind of got lucky, and then I punched a kid, and that got like a lot of traction. And then I think the turning point was kind of like, it was kind of a mixture of, there was the CCK moment, and then there was like this, there was a match with Sweet Jesus where suddenly people just turned and went, oh no, actually these are our guys. Like, this is our tag team. And then when I went solo, they were just like, yeah, that's our guy, type of thing. So yeah, there was just two moments of like weird timing that turned them. And I think it was because they knew, like, I think they knew that, like, I knew what I was. Like, I knew I wasn't like a 5-star technical wrestler. Like, I'll never will be. Like, I could fucking train every day, and I don't know, just my fat old body would give up. And I think they knew that, like, I invested a lot of time in all the other things, and I think they were a bit receptive to that, and they kind of looked at that and went, oh, you know what, that's quite cool. Like, I think they know that the Northeast is like unofficially my home as well. So I was kind of like the hometown kind of boy. Same with Defiant then when I transferred over. It was like, it was weird to go from like the Newcastle shows to like Leeds, because suddenly it was flipped and I was the outsider. I was getting booed out of the building in Leeds, but in Newcastle there was still like that spattering of like people going, oh, that's the guy from North, So yeah, I think it's just it's just timing. Like, and everyone always says it, and it's a stupid cliche, but like the best things that ever happened to me in wrestling was because either people couldn't make a show, or I happened to be there and I had my gear, or I randomly came up with an idea. Like, that's where the videotape came from. Was like, I think Jimmy got injured and couldn't do a show, and I was meant to come in about 2 months later or something like that, and we were like, we're just gonna bring him in tonight. Or no, Jimmy was on the show, but somebody else had to pull out, I think. And then I was like, oh, I need a weapon shot. I'll smash this videotape over someone's head, and then It just came about. I was like, oh. And I felt terrible because I loaded it so heavy that like Haskins was wrestling after me, and like, like I'm so afraid of like annoying any of like the proper wrestlers on the show. Where like Haskins was wrestling and like he was taking moves and there was just this dust coming off the ring, and I was like, oh man. So I was like, I'm gonna have to apologize. So I kind of went up and I was like, oh mate, I'm really sorry about the amount of dust. And he's like, no, it was cool, man. I was like wrestling in Memphis. And I was like, oh thank God. I was like,
what is that red dust?
The stuff I use now is like it's 100% safe. It's like a party. I think it's like stuff that you see in festivals, paint festivals and stuff.
Right, okay, yeah.
But the first time I did it, it was proper Memphis style weapon shot. It was like talc. But obviously I didn't know what I was doing, so I loaded it so heavy. Like I was afraid that it wouldn't be visual, and it's everywhere. So I think for a while at Defiant they just called me the Dusty Man. So I thought it was like a reference to me being like Dusty Rhodes, but it wasn't. It's just messy, just a messy bastard. So I don't
about horror films that appeal.
I think like I was just listening to I was just out walking my dog and I was listening to like a podcast. It's like Nightmare on Film Street, and it's weird because I've said this to people before about why sometimes I don't like going to the cinema when there's a horror movie on. And they were talking about how at chapter 1, the guy went to see it and he said like the audience were very much like picking fun at it. And I think for me it's like it's safe. It's a weird safe danger. Like it's not like an asphyxia wank. Which is just because I'm reading the Stephen King book and that was in it. I don't know why Stephen King put it in. But I think it is like a safe danger, isn't it? Like you can get your heart rate up, you can get that scare, you can kind of be disgusted, and you know, like somewhere in the back of your brain, you know that like it'll all be all right because you could turn the lights on, or you know, you leave the cinema. And they were saying like that's sometimes what people don't do is they won't give themselves over to a horror movie. I suppose it's kind of like wrestling as well. You know, like people won't just get enthralled in the story. They'll kind of start nitpicking or they'll start dissecting it too much. And for me, that was always it with horror. It was like a safe way of getting terrified.
Can you remember the first horror film you watched?
I think it was The Fly. Yeah, I think it was A Fly. I think because I remember being a kid and I remember being, I think it was at a Butlins. I think we went like a family holiday and we were staying in a caravan in Butlins in Ayr. And I remember my aunt Josie was with me, and she was like the cool aunt because she was just like a massive horror fan, and like right up until she died as well. Like every time I would meet her, it would be like a different conversation you'd have with any other aunt. She'd be like, "Oh, you up to date with Walking Dead?" And you'd be like, "Nah, Josie." And she's like, "Oh, you're fucking shit." And you're like, "Oh, sorry to disappoint you." And I remember she let me stay up late and watch The Fly. So I think it was The Fly. Yeah, I think that was it because I vividly remember like kind of watching it like that. And then I think from then on in, it was like I would just, you know, it was good back then because you could find them on like Channel 4, BBC 2, like late at night. You could always like catch like late night horror movies, and I think that's when I first discovered Mark Kermode. It was like he used to do like the intros. So when they did, because Exorcist was banned in Ireland for ages, because I remember watching The Exorcist then. I like bunked off school, got the video, and like closed all the curtains in my house, and like sat and watched it, and like absolutely shat myself. But I think it was the same thing. It was like the build up anticipation of watching The Exorcist tricked me into thinking The Exorcist is a lot scarier than it really is. So you go in with all this baggage, and then I just remember being absolutely terrified. It didn't help that I was raised in a Catholic household as well. My dad's thing was weird. He didn't mind violence or horror. It was just like, God forbid you might see a booby. Like, you know, like God forbid you might see a tit or something like that. You might see a bit of intercourse. So, like, I remember he'd just, like, cover my eyes for those bits. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, someone's just got their head exploded. My dad's like, you're not watching that, mate. That's bad for you.
Priorities.
So I remember that's when I first saw Predator, was my dad was watching it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sit and watch this with me," and I was like, "This," and I still remember like the sofa, like the wallpaper we had, like it's a nice like memory of mine. It's just like sitting watching Predator with my dad. It's quite cool. So is Gangrel in the third A Human Centipede?
I don't know.
I
I'll
think
go and
I
check.
think I think he might be. I don't know why it came up one day, but I remember like I think he put it on his Instagram or something. I was like, "Oh, Gangrel's in," because I know he directs movies,
Yeah.
but they're
Not horror.
those types of movies. But yeah, like I didn't know he was in horror movies. Yeah, I think maybe we've lost that a little bit now. Where like you don't get the hype anymore. Like for me, Blair Witch, the first Blair Witch was the last movie that had that kind of like mystery and stuff behind it. But that was still, I think I got the Blair Witch on VHS from the States. Like I ordered it from the back of Empire magazine.
I went
Um,
to the cinema to see it, and I went
yeah,
in absolutely petrified. And then
yeah,
when
and it
it
was.
ended, it was like, is that it?
And it's that thing in it where like they'd marketed it so well. Like I remember the website, like loading it up on my Ireland dial-up internet. It's like this, or it'd take me like 25 minutes to watch a 13-second clip and stuff. And I remember just like going into it, going like, "Oh, I'm terrified." And then it's the same thing where I came out of it and I was like, "Oh, is that it? Oh, it wasn't that scary." But then a lot of people rave about new movies, like new horror movies, and I watch them. I'm a bit like, oh, like I saw someone tweeting about it today. It was Insidious. No, they weren't tweeting about Insidious. They were tweeting about Sinister. And it's like, yeah, it just didn't work for me. I don't know why, but that and Insidious didn't work for me. But then like one of the Conjurings really did. And then I went to see The Nun, and I thought like that didn't work for me. And it's just like I don't know if it's becoming so formulaic, or maybe it's like we've seen it all so many times that like how do
The
people
thing
say?
with horror at the minute now is, especially modern horror, a lot of it seems to be, like you say, very formulaic. It's just quiet,
Bang.
fake out,
Yeah,
relax, jump
yeah.
scare. And it's just, The Nun was just a bunch of jump scares. It
Oh,
was, didn't do it for me. But like you say, I thought the original Conjuring was pretty decent.
God forbid if there's ever like an emergency and I'm in the cinema, like no one's going to be able to get in touch with me. Like I always turn my phone off. Like I try to not make noise with my snacks and stuff. I don't talk. Like, and like I don't take my phone out and take a picture of the fucking title screen. Like,
Hi, Benji.
yeah, fucking oh, you little fucking prick.
What would you say your three favourite horror films are then? If you have to narrow it down, just to three.
Oh shit. Three. So the first Halloween's definitely in there. Because I love that. I think that was the first time like I was like, horror movies can be movies, can be properly made movies. So definitely the first Halloween. Um, shit. I want to say I would probably go with the first Nightmare on Elm Street as well. Um, just because I absolutely like it's like the Freddy character. I absolutely love him. It was weird because at the time I was like, this is naff, but now when I watch it back, I'm like, oh, this is actually quite ahead of its time. So yeah, definitely those two. And then weirdly, the last one I would probably go for, which isn't necessarily a horror movie, would be Poltergeist. But it kind of is a horror movie. But
Yeah.
I just remember reading recently about like the age rating when it was first released was actually like quite low. And that explains why I saw it. I mean, that scared the crap into me. But then it was weird that the older I got and I rewatched it, I was like, oh, this is the same director as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, there's a big argument that some bits are directed by Spielberg and some bits are directed by him. But it's got this weirdness about like all the dialogue in it. It's proper. I don't know, it just feels strange. Like it always feels like everyone's talking about something else, and like there's something wrong with the family. And then when you watch Texas Chainsaw, it feels like the dinner scene in Texas Chainsaw, and you're like, yeah, he definitely directed that scene. So I think that would be it. I think Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, because Halloween started an unhealthy obsession with Jamie Lee Curtis, like just an unhealthy obsession. Um, which I get a lot of heat for. Like a lot of the boys slag me off for fancying Jamie Lee Curtis, like, and I'll fight them to the death. Nightmare on Elm Street, and because that's when I first got introduced to Wes Craven, and Poltergeist. I'd say they're my top three.
Good shouts.
Showing my age, I think, with my top three. People,
not at all.
Have you got a top three?
Oof. Hellraiser.
Right.
The original, because it's just dead violent, innit?
It is. It's just proper violent.
If you're going to count Poltergeist, I'm going to count From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, I've got a funny From Dusk Till Dawn story I'll tell you after this.
And third, I'm probably going to really annoy you. I really liked the latest Halloween that came out.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I thought it was really, really good.
So good, man. Absolutely.
Easily the best sequel since Halloween 2.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely loved it. No, I wouldn't hate you for that. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to the next two as well. Like, so my funny From Dusk Till Dawn story. You can cut this if you want. So I was backstage at a Rise show, and I had this long thing at Rise where every time I get involved in something, something happens. Like something happens, we change the plan. So basically, I've been at Rise. I've probably been on 10 shows. Never once had to wrestle. Perfect. So I just keep turning up and ruining everyone's night. And everyone's like, does he ever wrestle? Nah. So I was at Rise, I was backstage, and we were in the Brunel, and the backstage in the Brunel is so narrow. And I was there, and I think I was just like wearing like my running gear, which is just my normal attire. So I think it was like a horror movie t-shirt, like a shirt. And I was waiting to go out, and like Benji I could see he's up to something, just being a little fucking dickhead. And he was nudging Shreddy. He's like, oh, see how Irish reacts? He's nudging me. And Shreddy goes, look who's here. And I turned around, and I lost my shit because I thought Tom Savini was there. So I thought Sex Machine was at Rise. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, proper lost my shit. Like, and people started looking at me. I was like, oh, holy fucking shit. And then I looked and I went, that's not Tom Savini. It was fucking Wagner from X Factor. Mate, I was from there, just I was fucking gutted. Like, because I don't know why in my brain I was like, Tom Savini's made, he does masks for Wyatt and those guys. Of course he'd be alright. Like, and then Benji and Shredder keep bringing up, like, do you remember the time I always thought like some guy from a horror movie was at Rise? Is like, mate, I lost my shit, like proper fanboyed out. Like, I was going to be like ask him about the Jason mask. I was going to ask him about the Jason prosthetic. I was going to ask him about the fucking gun. It's the most heartbreaking thing to happen in wrestling.
Before you go, is there anything you want to plug?
Normally I plug my merch and stuff. But yeah, don't buy it. Like, if anyone's interested in my stuff, like, I've got like a YouTube channel. Everything's like Rory Wrestler, so it's like youtube.com/Rory Wrestler, like Twitter, Rory Wrestler. It's rorywrestler.com for my merch and stuff. My Patreon's like patreon.com/Rory Coyle, I think. But yeah, I would say like just promotions. So like North Wrestling. I know BWR have started like their own on-demand. Like Rise have a Patreon on-demand. And then just the boys merch. Like, so like you got like Rampage's merch, Screwface's merch. You got like Nathan Cruz. Like lads I got like Robbie X. Like, just go support all them guys. Give them your hard-earned lockdown monies. But yeah, like my YouTube channel now, like a lot of my stuff's going for free, so I'm reviewing like different horror movies and stuff, and I've got like weird videos of me and Newt and unboxing videos and stuff. So I'm just trying to branch out from wrestling for the inevitable day when I burn my boots, like so many people want me to do, and then I'll just become a horror movie guy on YouTube. And that's it.
Nice one. Well, thanks for joining us, Rory, and hopefully I'll get to see you down the road eventually.
Hopefully.
One day,
Fingers
maybe,
crossed. Yeah.
perhaps. Take care, man. Speak to you soon.
Yeah, man. Cheers, mate.